Hope Church. If you are new to our Hope Church family, hi. We are so excited to have you with us here today. If you're already part of our family, how are you doing? My name is Joy and welcome to our family podcast where we discuss the Sunday sermons by chatting about them, getting deeper into their meaning, understanding what they mean, clarifying any misconceptions, but most importantly, understanding how we can live out the word in our daily lives. Today, I'm joined by James, who is one of the pastors at Hope Church, and we will be discussing his sermon, Costly Love, which is part of our series, Power and Weakness. To watch the full sermon, please do head on over to our YouTube channel, that is Hope Church Auckland Park, to watch the full sermon. It really is so worth it. I know I say this for every week, but it's really worth it. You will enjoy it so much, but we're going to be diving into what it means and the essence of it, answering some of those questions. Could you please give us a summary, perhaps, James? But before I get there, how are you doing? How was your day? Let's not just jump into it.
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's been a good day.
Okay.
How are you doing, Joy?
It's been rough. It's only Tuesday, but it feels like it's been already the entire week. But we're getting through, like we say,
good.
Power and weakness with the strength of God getting through. So yeah, that's how it's been.
Cool.
So trying my best. Could you give us a summary? Of the sermon. What is it about? For those of us who haven't watched it yet, but we're gonna go watch it on the YouTube channel. Just telling us a brief summary of what it was about, really.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very emotional passage, actually, a very personal passage where Paul is expressing the costly love that he has for the Corinthians, like just the pain that he's gone through, if you like. And he's calling them to say, look, I've opened wide my heart to you guys. Will you open wide your heart to us, to me as well? So he's drawing them into this costly love. And then he says, I don't know if this gets harder, I think. He says, actually, to do that, you need to distance yourselves from the way that non-Christians work. You distance yourself from the goals, the desires that they have. Stop striving with those guys for the things that they're striving for. Strive for this painful love. And then he helps us to see how it's possible by sharing with us just how much the Father loves us.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's the only thing that makes it doable.
True.
If you're
True.
like, that's how the Spirit empowers us, really, actually.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
So on Sunday, again, if you watched the full sermon on our YouTube channel, you shared with us some of the difficulties that you face as a pastor here at Hope Church. And I always thought, as a pastor, yes, you're called to it, and that's about it. I thought, you're called to it. You receive some training. I thought maybe the hardest thing that you have to do as a pastor is like actually speak about a taboo topic to the church. But that's like the hardest thing. And I was so shocked when you were sharing with us some of the things that you shared one. I'm hoping today you can share a bit more. What are some of the tough things that as a pastor you actually need to endure that showcases this costly love?
Yes, actually the preaching is the best bit. That's like the easiest part of the job. That's a joy. Because you get to be in God's word and it's just a joy.
Yeah, okay.
That's actually preaching weeks for me are the best weeks. That's where I get to like be refreshed and it's a joy.
Okay.
But no, it's hard because it's a calling, if you like. It's a ministry where you actually are called to love people and to really engage in their lives. And people's lives are messy. And we just all live in a messy world. And if we're called to like love one another, well, that also means we're going to hurt one another.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that we don't expect that.
Yes.
Sometimes we think the church should be above that. We shouldn't hurt each other in the church.
Yes.
But actually, I think most pastors experience, and I think a pastor is often actually at the sort of the tip of the spear of that, if you like, is that Christians are just really good at hurting each other a lot. And that's because we're really engaging with some really painful issues in each other's lives. And so that hurts. So I don't know what to share with you that would help to see that more.
I think maybe sharing with us how you got into ministry might be a bit of a lighter topic.
Let's start there.
It's always
then.
a fun,
Let's warm
like,
ourselves
conversation.
up. So I was studying economics at a university in the UK, I was going to do. I had a decision between economics and sculpture. So I was going to art school or economics at Cambridge. So one of the two. And I literally, this is the godliness of my decision. I'd said, I don't want to be poor. I'm going to go make money in the city and be a banker. And so I'll study economics, even though I love sculpture more.
You're like, I need
I'm like, yeah, but money.
Yeah. Which is so sad because I feel like that's what most of people in my generation are doing.
Yeah. It's realistic.
Yes, true. It's very realistic, yeah.
But it's sad. But actually, as I was studying economics, somebody was reading the Bible with me one-to-one. I got involved with the church my sister was at, who was a few years ahead of me at this university, at varsity. And I just started to have a real love and a passion to see people saved.
Wow.
And so the love of money was growing cold in my heart, and the love for people was growing stronger in my heart. Okay. And God just, like, it, for other people, it seemed like a big change around. For my parents, it was a massive change. They were not expecting it. But for me, it was a very natural thing. Okay. So I just started evangelizing more, preaching at my university, preaching at schools around, sharing the gospel with more people, and actually just started doing gradually more and more ministry.
Wow.
Until it kind of took over.
Wow.
So it was an easy call at the end. Wow. Yeah, of course I'm going to do this.
Felt like it was a natural kind of shift for you, like a gentle kind of gravitation.
Yeah, it was
like drawn to it. That's, if I can explain it like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. That is so interesting. And then moving from UK to South Africa, were there obviously challenges then that you encountered? Maybe share one or two that made you go, no, I think this is not the path for me. That again, really needed you to showcase that costly love. Maybe one or two challenges that you guys faced. Were you married at the time before moving?
Yes. So Lucy and I, almost 20 years, 19 years we've been married. There we go, August 20.
Kudos to you for remembering.
There you go. It was hard. It was hard on a number of grounds. One of the things I shared was moving away from family was really tough because we're a very close family, and moving away was very tearful and very hard. But settling here, like, I think one of the gifts we have is that we feel at home very quickly, and so we felt at home very fast, which was great. I shared some of these. Let me share one again. So one is a lot of people at that point had a big fear about this part of Joburg. And so we were wondering how we would cope when something happened. And so 2 years, I think it was 2 years in, something did happen. We had a home invasion. People came into the house, and it was pretty traumatic. And I was. The threats were traumatic. Thankfully, what happened, it didn't materialize. I had to basically go around my house finding as many, things that I could give them basically as possible. It was a very weird experience. It was just being led around my house, showing where you can steal stuff from.
Well,
but again, like, stuff doesn't matter. People matter. But then God strengthened us in that. And actually, Lucy's experience through it was that she felt closer to the Lord, and that Lord was with her in it. And I think that's true as we went through it. Some of the things that have caused more stress is when you're in the center of Joburg at a church like ours, and you're wanting to train people up and send them out, and you're wanting to do student work. Finances are a nightmare. Like a full-on nightmare. And for me, like, that was one of the things I just didn't expect. But when you're the leader, it's the buck stops with you. And there's just a huge lot of uncertainty and anxiety over our finances, which the Lord has been very gracious with. But every year look impossible. And that's terrifying. And I feel like the pressure to go raise funds and search for funds to support the work, because otherwise it has massive impact on our staff. Obviously.
Of course.
And on our ministry. And if we can't raise them, like what's going on in my head is I'm thinking, but I want to see those people reached. And if we can't be reaching them, then that's like,
we're not achieving our mission as a church.
And we're not loving those people, and those people are not hearing about Jesus, and then they're dead in their sin, and they're not saved. You think, but those people, it's costly for all of us. But what about the next generation? You know, I'm keen that we don't ever take our foot off the gas, if you like, because it'll be fine for us because we're already in.
We're there.
But I'm thinking, okay, but what about the next
person?
And then I think the other thing that was hard for us, I expressed some of it in the sermon. Like, I'm a people pleaser. I want to belong. I got bullied quite badly at school. Therefore, it's a big thing for me. Like, I want to belong. And coming to Central Joburg as a white British guy, you know, is not the best way of achieving that goal. At one point, it started out, okay, this is okay. Maybe the Brit is the middle ground, and that'll be okay. Like, he's not Afrikaans, he's not black. There's some sort of
like
middle territory. But that faded fairly fast.
Very quickly.
So, rightly so. And it's hard in our church because we're such a diverse church. And so we misunderstand each other all the time. And it's a struggle. And so I felt like, and I feel this a bit, like I have a loving family that's diverse, that's around me. But sometimes it feels like I am, you know, you're never white enough nor black enough. If you're seeking transformation, there's going to be groups who are like against that and see that as wrong. And then rightly so, there's other groups who are just thinking you're just not going fast enough. And so that can feel very lonely. And being in leadership is already pretty lonely. And so that's hit us hard at lots of different points.
And you continue to do it for us, and you continue to display this costly love for us.
Well, not just me, but like the whole of our team.
That's
true. And not just the people who are employed, but across our church, leaders in our church. If you hear some people's stories, and I think some other people's stories are much more extreme than mine, you will experience just, I guess, just how much they love. Even if it doesn't look like, even if they're not ticking all the boxes, do you know what I mean? And you think, yes, you're loving me how I want to be loved. Even if that's not happening, just seeing the cost that they've had to bear to stick and to be here and to keep ministering in the same place. It's huge when you hear people's stories. It is
definitely.
Cool.
What a beautiful way to peer more into our church, the people that really contribute greatly to it, the costly love that they endure, and just better connect with the ministry, the people who minister in our church. Thank you so much, Pastor James. This was absolutely interesting, so insightful. Again, to watch the full sermon, head on over to our YouTube channel, Hope Church Auckland Park. And of course, please do join us on a Sunday, either for our 9 a.m. service or a 6 p.m. service at 45 Ditton Avenue, because we want to see you. We want to engage with you. I want to have a cup of coffee with you. So please do join us. But of course, I'm not going to leave you without a scripture of the day, and it is from John 15 verse 4-5, and it says, "Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, nothing can do." That is all for me, your favorite boss lady Joy. Bye, everybody.